Good evening. As always tonight, we've got the best from the games. We've got shooting. The Gunners were at Ipswich. There's boxing. The Bantams were at home to Southampton. We've got cycling. We'll see Liverpool play Sunderland. Then there's diving. An early morning start at Old Trafford saw Manchester United play Chelsea. And we've got the rowing. Or should that be rowing? Plenty of that, goals and action from the other game. And what's more, even the weather was like Sydney. Alan and Mark have won a few medals in their time. Now, after a 5-year absence from the Premiership, Ipswich have made a steady start to the season. Today, they were up against Arsenal, winners on their previous 4 league visits to Portman Road. The commentator is John Motson.
The last time Arsenal played at Portman Road in the Premiership 6 years ago, Martin Keown was sent off, but a lot's happened since then. And on Wednesday, he overcame a ruptured vein to inspire a European Champions League comeback with those 2 late goals. The Ipswich captain, Matt Holland, is made of similar stature. He hasn't missed a match since joining them from Bournemouth 3 years ago. Today is his 175th consecutive appearance against the club, who told him as a 13-year-old he was too small to make the grade. Holland leads an Ipswich side that in defence welcomes back Mark Venus and the promising Titus Bramble after injury. Goalkeeper Richard Wright is keen to press his England credentials, and namesake Jermaine Wright scored the winner at Leeds last week. Up front, the Scowcroft-Stewart partnership keeps last season's top scorer David Johnson on the bench. Arsenal are without Tony Adams and Robert Perez, both injured. Patrick Vieira still suspended, and they're resting Lee Dixon. Sylvain Wiltord and Dennis Bergkamp are both restored to the starting lineup. Ray Parlour is back from injury. Paul Durkin is the referee. The weather is bright, the pitch is superb, and it's good to see Ipswich Town back in the top division with much improved and developing facilities here at the ground. A new stand, in fact, on the cards, and there's Thierry Henry, who's just offside. No need for Paul Durkin to really stop the game there, but Arsenal playing in their traditional colours from right to left in the first half. Forward by Bramble for Ipswich. And looks as though Wiltord has started on the right. This is Ray Parlour, who may have a more central role in midfield. Henry is on the near post and Bergkamp further over, and Arsenal force the first corner. And for this, Martin Keown, after his heroics on Wednesday, has moved forward, and so too has Luzhny, the other centre-back, wearing 22. And Gilles Grimondi is in there too. And that was Grimondi! Oh, and it was Martin Keown! Well, that would have been surely too much for coincidence after the way he finished the last match. But it's very, very close here. Grimondi gets the flick on, and Keown, well, the defender in front of him actually deflected it over the bar. Corner again. And there's Grimondi again, and Ipswich not defending the near post very well. This is Bergkamp. Jim Magilton. So it's an early scare for the Premiership newcomers. Parlour. Oh, that's a good effort by Ray Parlour. That had real power and direction, and it whistled over Richard Wright's crossbar. And Ray Parlour certainly starting this match in central midfield. touch from Scowcroft. That was good play, and Jim Magilton well forward here for Ipswich. Backing up here is Haridason. 3 in the middle for him. And now Ipswich force a corner. Scowcroft on the near post. Stewart in the 6-yard box. Oh, and it was Matt Holland, the captain, who came round the back and got virtually a free header. It's swung in by Jim Magilton, the corner, and Arsenal a bit short there. Nobody seemed to pick him up. It's that sort of day. Bright sunshine in Suffolk. Well, as yet, Stewart and Scowcroft haven't managed to unsettle Keown and Wozny, but here's Jermaine Wright. Skillful. Stewart, offside Magilton. The applause is for Jermaine Wright, who showed a tiny bit of skill there. Player who started his career at Millwall and then went to Wolves and Crewe, and is making a bit of an impression here in midfield. Into the path of Grimondi, now Thierry Henry. Wiltord coming in from the far side, it's Henry's shot. Well, those can be awkward if they dip and bounce just in front of the keeper. Henry just seeing an opportunity here. There haven't been many shots in this first half, but it was safe enough. Magilton steers it through to Stewart. Ipswich have 5 up in this attack. This is Magilton again. This is Stewart. And it was Nelson Vivas who got across. Scowcroft wasn't far away from that Stewart flick. Magilton again. He's forced a corner now. And Haridason gets up with David Seaman, and there's Bramble! Oh, and that block, Vivas, I think it was again. That's about as close as Ipswich have come, with Titus Bramble there. And David Seaman is injured. There's the moment where Seaman comes to meet Haridason. Then I think he collides possibly with Keown. Bramble certainly got behind that, but look, it's the head of Nelson Vivas. Quite a splendid clearance. But Keown is demanding a bit more from 1 or 2 people around him. This is Henry. Wiltord. Oh, Ljungberg closing in, and the challenge is by Bramble. And the flag is up on the far side, but I suspect that's for an earlier offside. Yes, an Arsenal player ran into an offside position there in the centre, and the flag went up so that Bramble, who didn't know that, wouldn't have had to make that challenge, but a very good one it was to deprive Ljungberg. Well, pretty even, that first half. A couple of blocks in front of the goalkeeper, the nearest we came to a goal, but Arsene Wenger will be happy enough, I should think, after Wednesday. But Titus Bramble, this 19-year-old centre-back at Ipswich, looks a real prospect in the making. He came closest to scoring with an effort blocked by Vivas, but he also defended with great assurance against the likes of Thierry Henry. Half-time 0-0. There's a famous Ipswich Town face, and one of the members of the 1978 FA Cup winning team against Arsenal, Kevin Beattie. What a fine defender he was. There have been some fairly spectacular lunches held at Ipswich Town down the years, but the most important one was in the 1930s when the then Arsenal chairman, Sir Samuel Hill Wood, was meeting his Ipswich Town counterpart, Ivan Cobbold, and made the suggestion that Mr. Cobbold should start a professional football club in Ipswich, and that's how Ipswich Town came into being. Arsenal, of course, in the 30s were the most famous club in the land and the most successful. So there's always been a great affinity between the two boards of directors, right up to the present day when David Sheepshanks and David Dean were on Football Focus together this morning. Here's Nelson Vivas for Arsenal to Bergkamp. Outside him is Wiltord. Henry is coming in from the far side. They've also got Ljungberg up. And there's Henry! And just wanted a more firm contact. And Ipswich, who were caught a little cold at the start of the first half, almost going down the same road again, but this is Stewart. Wilness. It's a full house here at Portman Road, and George Burley was very anxious that Ipswich acquitted themselves well again against one of the championship contenders. Parlour, and there are 4 up with him for Arsenal. One of them here is Vivas. Henry making his way across the area now, and Richard Wright had to be off his line quickly. It was a good ball in. Venus on the chest of Scowcroft. This is Stewart, and now, oh, that's a free kick given against Parlour. It's Magilton who'll take it. Bramble has come forward with Hariderson. It's come out to Matt Holland. Good return, but oh, it's Stewart! And Ipswich Town are in the lead! It's Marcus Stewart! And what a great ball by Matt Holland! Well, this is a wonderful ball by the captain. It cuts out the Arsenal defenders, and Stewart just nodded it and dropped it past Seaman. Really well-made goal, and Keown and Silvino and Grimandi just standing there as Stewart sneaked in behind them, and Ipswich are in front. Holland to Wilness. Scowcroft coming in! It's a firm header. It's Ipswich who are going to make the substitution. James Scowcroft hasn't seen the board yet, but he's going to come off and be replaced by one of the heroes of the playoff final last season, 23-year-old Richard Naylor, who scored in that Wembley game against Barnsley, but has been out of action this season with injury up to now, made his comeback via the reserves, and gets a big ovation. Now then, Ljungberg, Henry, good feet. Wiltord with Vivas outside him here. Wiltord again. Curved ball in, Henry comes forward. Oh. And Richard Wright just doing enough. Hariderson. Forward by Jermaine Wright, and Naylor's through. Great chance for him to score, and he misses it just after coming on. He's got no defenders to worry about, but in trying to steer it wide of Seaman, he puts it, as you can see from his expression, disappointingly wide of the post. Here he is again. Clapham's made a run now from left to right, further forward. Holland. Chipping it for... Oh, good turn by Stewart. Naylor coming in from the far side, others joining now. There's Naylor. I think Magilton wanted it pulled back to him for a shot, and he's expressing his feelings to Stewart. Well, with no disrespect to Ipswich, Arsene Wenger would know that these are matches that Arsenal can't afford to slip up in if they're going to sustain a real championship challenge. They're one down here. George Burley's team deserving of their lead for the way they took the second half by the scruff of the neck. This is Clapham. And it comes to Naylor. Oh, that's a good back heel. Here's Marcus Stewart taking on Rushney. Magilton. Stewart, the goal scorer, feeding off Naylor. And I think Arsenal will shortly be thinking about making a substitution of their own, if not two. Don't think Arsene Wenger will let this go too much further. Henry is waiting for the service in the penalty area, but Bergkamp all too easily bustled out of that. Now Keown comes in on Naylor, and Ljungberg in strongly too for Arsenal. Short to Bergkamp, and Ljungberg flattened by Hreidarsson as he went for a return. This is a free kick to Arsenal in quite dangerous territory. And there's pushing between Keown and his marker. Don't think the referee's... Oh, and there's something's happened in the area there. Keown. Oh, and well saved by Richard Wright. Well, there was all sorts going on in there, and one or two players had lost their concentration completely. Martin Keown was involved in a scuffle here, as you can see far side, and it goes on a bit, and that's a Bergkamp effort, which Wright turns around. It's a corner again to Arsenal. And it's Keown again. And in it goes from Parler. Bramble. Jermaine Wright. And Ipswich have got Clapham in a good position here. And the block takes the ball out for a corner. Holland at the back. Oh, and the touch on. Stewart very close to his second. Matt Holland got up on the far side here to knock the ball back in. And Seaman, well, did enough, I suppose, really, to put Stewart off. Wide it goes to Silvinho. Kanu. Bergkamp. Oh, and Ljungberg got free! No marking there at all in the Ipswich defence. Mark Venus looking around and arguing with Hreidarsson, but this was... Oh, he's not offside. Should have been the equaliser, perhaps, for Freddie Ljungberg. Good second half, this. Holland. And you feel there might be another goal in the game. This is Hreidarsson. Stewart to Clapham. And Stewart goes again. And in the centre, Naylor is waiting. Being joined now by two others. It's Clapham. Oh, and there is Naylor! Should have been in. Real opportunity. Magilton gets the first header, and Naylor on the end of it. Good deep cross by Jamie Clapham. Magilton has crept up on the far side, and Naylor heads wide. His second opportunity to sew this game up. Bramble with the volley clearance. Kanu. Good-looking ball. Henry's there. Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp. And Arsenal have equalised. Bergkamp scores. It was a good attack. And Kanu with a lovely through ball for Thierry Henry. think Bramble half got to him, Wright came out and the goal was unguarded, and Bergkamp slots it in for Arsenal. Henry here with Bramble, then Wright makes the save, but an unerring finish by Dennis Bergkamp with 7 minutes of normal time left. Arsenal are level. And that's the strength of Arsene Wenger's team. They always have the character to come back. Here he is again. This really is a good second half. Now it's Henry, and Richard Wright came out. And did he make the right decision? Well, it's a question you may not have to ask too often because Henry missed it. But this was danger again. Bergkamp now the provider, and Henry is stretching the defence and floated that one wide of the post. Well, maybe the goalkeeper did do the right thing there, shut him down. There's a real edge of excitement around the ground because the game has been such that you are never quite sure whether there's another goal in it somewhere. Here's Naylor. Oh, Magilton, perhaps there should have been. Usually such a good striker of the ball, Jim Magilton, as his hat-trick here in the playoff semi-final testified. And there was an opportunity. As the ball sat up nicely, he completely sliced it. Well, it's been a nerve-wracking afternoon for George Burley and Dale Roberts. We're into stoppage time now, as Naylor heads on to Stewart here. Naylor again. He's got Jermaine Wright to his right, and that's a free kick. It's a foul by Vanatza, and here are Ipswich 30 yards out with a free kick in stoppage time. And Venus to strike it. Oh, and Seaman just gets there. Mark Venus, who scored on the opening day at Tottenham, very nearly made the other North London club pay there. Well, a gripping second half. In the end, either team could have won it. And in that respect, I suppose a draw, a fair result, but Ipswich will look back and remember not just Stewart's goal, but the two chances that fell Naylor's way. It could have been 2-0 before Bergkamp came up with Arsenal's equaliser. And once again, they've shown that they have got powers of recovery. And what would have been 3 points for Ipswich is now only one. Naylor left to reflect on two openings, a final score at Portman Road after an excellent second half. George Burley's team playing some fine football. Ipswich won, Arsenal won.
Well, George, that's life in the Premiership, isn't it? A game you could have won, but you get punished for perhaps one lapse of concentration.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing against quality teams, and it shows you how far we've came. The boys are disappointed in the dressing room because we felt we were going to get the 3 points, but you know, you're against quality teams, and maybe one goal was never enough.
Well, for the second time in the week, Arsene, it's an Arsenal recovery.
It's a recovery, and I think it was a good game, but maybe we didn't do enough in the first half. But at the moment, we came back in the second half and came out and started very well. Sunday we were 1-0 down, and we had to go again and had to fight back. Fortunately, we got back at least a draw, but we played against a good side of Ipswich, who was highly motivated, plays a high pace, and in fairness, we could have won it in the end, and they could have maybe added one goal as well, so the draw looks fair to me.
And as far as survival in the Premiership goes, is the mood in the dressing room optimistic?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, you know, our aim is fourth bottom and above. I mean, realistically, I think we can challenge further than that, but if we finish fourth bottom, then it's been a successful season.
Of course, with the European Champions League coming up all the time, there's a lot of matches. Do the players accept the rotation policy that Arsene Wenger's been talking about?
I think you have to these days, you know, so many games, and there's a lot of tired lads in there, you know, at the moment, you know, so considering that and all things, it's a good result, and there's a lot of good players in the squad, and we've got to change it around, and that's what the manager does.
Good comeback from Arsenal, but they're not really firing on all cylinders this season, are they?
Well, the comeback was the positive side. They're right in the middle of the Champions League. Influential players missing Adams, Vieira in the middle of the park. I thought at times Bergkamp was too deep. The only time they really came to life was when Kanu came on. I thought they were a different side, but if you're going away from home in the league, the quality of players Arsenal have got, they've got to play better than they did today.
As for Ipswich, well, they've made a really promising start to the
Well,
Premiership,
very much
haven't
so.
they? And they played well.
Well, 3 points away against Leeds, home draw against Man United and the home draw against Arsenal speaks for itself. I think they've got a bit of pace about the side. They're well organised. They get men behind the ball at the right time. They're good in possession. Today they're 1-0 up. 2 great chances. If Naylor scores either of the chances he had, then it's all over. He's 2 minutes on the pitch when Seaman plays this ball out. Just a simple ball over the top. There you go. He's onto it. Might have taken another touch and hits it past the post. Good chance.
Turned an easy chance into a difficult one.
Well, this is an even better chance. We're talking about Ipswich in possession. This is pass number 7 from Bramble. So they've kept a hold of it well. And then when they get forward, it's quick, incisive, and it should have been decisive because Clapham, great ball into the box. Good play. Back post. Magilton hits it back. I'll tell you what, you're not getting an easier chance than that. And if they score there, then it's all over.
And one young man making a bit of a name for himself, defender Titus Bramble. What were your impressions of him today?
Well, first of all, you've got to remember you're playing against quality players. You know, he came in, I think he's big and strong, showed good composure on the ball, didn't dive in a lot. All right, I've mentioned before when you're getting 6s and 7s behind the ball, it's easier to defend, but he played exceptionally well. He's learning and played in a three-man central defence and played excellently, really did. The first challenge coming up, it's all about staying your feet to the right time, reading the play, coming across, getting in position, and what was this for a challenge? No room for error there, inch perfect. Again, Bergkamp when the ball comes forward, that's a strong, strong challenge. Ball played into Lundberg, another great challenge. What about the composure here? Kanu goes tight. That was absolutely brilliant. And what with this for a run? Picks it up here, open the gates, he's away, he's off. Not a great deal of support, but very good. Just runs out of steam. Then a lot of people were saying at the start of the season that Ipswich would go down, we were favourites to go down. And I was one of them, I'm not so sure now. I've watched them 2 or 3 times and they look really good.
I will let you change your mind. Now, there was an early kick-off today at Old Trafford. Manchester United played host to a Chelsea side selected for the first time by new coach Claudio Ranieri. He made 2 changes with Frank Leboeuf and John Harley back in the side. Chelsea skipper Dennis Wise was unfit and missing for the first time this season. Graham Lasseau was captain because he's English, said Ranieri. 2 changes by United brought the return of Paul Scholes and Teddy Sheringham. Roy Keane led them out on completion of his 3-match domestic suspension after being sent off against Chelsea in the Charity Shield. Gerald Sinstadt was there.
Hasselback. What a stunner of a goal. Set up beautifully and got what it asked for. First corner of the game. David Beckham will take it. Roy Keane will lend his considerable presence to the penalty area. Interesting variation. For his goal! Oh, we're seeing some goals here. Anything Chelsea can do, United can do too. What a strike! Knock on the head for David Beckham. Not pretty. It's a man's game. Keane. Goal. Keane again. Oh, good save, Cudicini. Brave and decisive and deservedly rewarded. Irwin playing again. Scholes had gone on, and so too had Cole. Teddy Sheringham. The man on the spot, the man in form, gives Manchester United a 2-1 lead. Cole, I think, just got a touch, and Sheringham undoubtedly did. Giggs away. How many times did he beat Di Matteo there? Is he going to go all the way? There will have been aspects of this Chelsea performance that will have pleased Claudio Ranieri, but he may not be too thrilled with their defending, because there goes number 3. Absolutely devastating. The speed with which the two of them reacted. Cole against the post, Beckham following up, and that was 3-1. Beautifully slipped onto the post and then knocked into the net from the rebound. Had run offside, but got back on. And now there are 3 in the box for a cross. Oh, and it's gone in through Van der Hau's hands from Torre-Andre Flo. Goalkeeper, who was unbeatable in Kiev in midweek, commits a howler. With a good firm header, to give Flo his credit. We've got a free kick here from an interesting angle for Chelsea. A lot of movement in the penalty area, with players making runs and checking out, and Van der Hau got lucky. Movement. Van der Hau decides to come, and it was off Panucci, and then it struck the goalkeeper rather than the goalkeeper saved it. It's a good ball. Cole is through now. Oh, that was a brilliant stop on the line. Lasso at the last second. So, on the burst. Oh yes, that's now 3-3, and Flo has got his second of the game. Lasso did all the work. Good burst down the left side. And when the ball was played in, Flo was waiting. 3-3. Vincent's pass. Giggs onside. Giggs was in the middle for the cross and put it over. Giggs had been waiting and was found wanting.
Torrey, I suppose that was the game you enjoyed.
Yeah, I think we all enjoyed it today. We played some good football, and much better than we have done lately, so we're pleased today.
I think we were a bit disappointed actually to be come in with a 2-goal deficit. I thought we were doing okay. I thought we were passing the ball well. We didn't let Manchester United have too much time on the ball, and I thought we were a little bit unlucky actually to be 2 goals down.
We have a new manager now, and everybody wants to show him what they can do, so I think that showed out there today. Everybody wants to show what they could do.
What particularly pleased you about Chelsea?
Ma dopo una settimana difficile per i ragazzi, cambio di allenatore, tutto quello che è passato, mi è piaciuto il loro spirito di squadra.
After a very difficult week for all the players with the change of change of coach, it was a great spirit that they showed for the whole game.
It's been a good week for us really in training, because we've started again. I think you obviously need leadership and somebody in charge who's going to dictate what happens, and he's doing that. And I'm sure Luca would be watching today's game with great interest and would be very pleased for us.
His team talks must take forever, but a good start for him nevertheless.
And much needed. A bad run of results, change of manager, bit of a crisis. 3-1 down against Manchester United, we were absolutely flying. It conceivably could have been 5 or 6. Then they're 11 points behind the Championship. It's all over for them now. Only 8 points behind. They've got the quality of players that they can still make an impact. It's looking half decent for them.
I think the enlightening thing as well about the way he picked his team today, Ranieri, was he managed to get flowing. I know he played down the right-hand side of midfield, but he looked to join in with the front two, Zola and Hasselbank. I don't think it's something that certainly Vialli didn't do before. And just the fact that they carried a goal threat at Old Trafford, which you have to do if you're going to get any semblance of a result.
And the second time this season that United have lost a 2-goal lead, they've obviously gone. Now, our next game sees Liverpool defend their 100% home record against Sunderland, a side yet to gain a single point on their travels. After a cup match in midweek, Sunderland reverted to their last Premiership lineup. The Liverpool side showed 3 changes, and Michael Owen's recovery from a back strain put him in opposition with England rival Kevin Phillips. And another England striker is on the way back. Robbie Fowler was on the Liverpool bench after scoring 5 in a reserve match this week. Steve Wilson saw this one.
Diomed. Ziege. And Diomed again. Good ball. This is Emil Heskey. Not a lot of conviction about Emil Heskey there. Well, Heskey's afternoon has come to an end already. That must be an injury. Danny Murphy's replaced him. And Heskey straight off down the tunnel. Here's Phillips. Harman chasing. Phillips away from him. Still Phillips hit it early and scores! What a superb goal by Kevin Phillips. Ran from inside his own half. Harman didn't dare make the tackle. And that is some finish by the Sunderland striker. 3 in successive games for Kevin Phillips. Kilban with a corner. And well taken by Sander Westerveld. Oh. Well, that's Don Hutchison, I think. Hutchison was trying to block Westerveld's throw and got a right hook for his pains. I think the Kop prefer to remember him as an ex-Evertonian rather than Liverpudlian, judging by the reaction. Ziege will take the free kick. Owen! Michael Owen for Liverpool. With his head this time. Well, right foot, left foot, head. There's no stopping Michael Owen at the moment. And Liverpool are level. Oh, superbly done by Owen. Emerson Thome ahead of him. Owen to take him on. Took a deflection, I think. Not a good header by Kilban. Ziege. Diomed, goal! No! Diomed thought he'd scored, and he wasn't the only one. Well, you couldn't ask any more from Bernard Diomed. What a stop by Sorensen. Just in the nick of time. Another massive Westerveld clearance. This is Owen. And Michael Owen. Certainly looks in England form. Peter Reid's Sunderland have lost all their away games this season in the league. Sunderland away. Gerrard. Song. That's dangerous. And Carragher was onside. Michael Gray. Quinn. Phillips. Real chance. Much easier chance than his goal. Onshow might just have put him off. And here comes Robbie Fowler, replacing Bernard Diomed. Well, such has been his run of injuries that he scored only 2 Premiership goals in 12 months, Robbie Fowler. 5, though, for the reserves in midweek, and quite some ovation on his return. Owen. Danny Murphy. Gerrard! Not too far away. Ziege again. Owen! Sorensen needed the touch, I think. Beat Emerson Thome in the air, and the Brazilian knows he shouldn't have done. Sorensen was taking no risks. That's Babel. Well, Christian Ziege keeps providing the ammunition. Liverpool just don't seem to be able to turn it into goals. Phillips. Julio Arca. Phillips! Half a chance. Good header by Kevin Phillips. He's really caught the eye today. Babel couldn't steer it back towards goal. But here's Murphy. That's Arca covering. And the slip gives Liverpool another corner. And this is Fowler in space. And one or two behind that goal thought that was going in. It would have been typical of the man.
We probably had more chances. Sorensen did a good job for them. But on the whole, we have to admit that we can play at a better level. I mean, we were lacking a bit of flow in our game, a bit of movement at times. It was too patchy, really.
I've got to say, I was pleased. Well, I wasn't pleased Robbie Fowler got on, but I think he's a good player as well. But certainly, Kevin Phillips' finish today was outstanding. And Michael Owen, you know, there's 6'5" people there, 6'4", and he gets on the end of a terrific cross. That's quality striking.
I only had one thing in my mind today when I got the ball. I think it was just over the halfway line. To have a go at goal, I think there was only Niall alongside me. And I've managed to cut inside, and from about 25 yards, I think I've caught the keeper off guard. I think he was going back not expecting the shot. And I've gone for it, I've curled it in the bottom corner, and delighted to see it go in.
What is the extent of the injury for Emil?
I've no idea. It dates back to the Bradford game, the first game. I hope it's not too serious, but the medical will decide tomorrow whether we have to go through an operation or not.
Considering I missed all pre-season, there's players that are ahead of me at the moment. But I said after the France game, if I could continue getting match fit, then all I can do is play well for Sunderland, keep scoring goals, hopefully scoring goals, and put myself in the shot window, and that's what I'm doing over the last couple of weeks.
Just hope Kevin Keegan watches match of the day tonight.
Well, I hope so. I will be.
And you can see more of Liverpool on Thursday night. We're at Anfield for their UEFA Cup first round second leg tie against Rapid Bucharest. Join us live, BBC One, at 8 o'clock. Now, before we bring you Bradford's game against Southampton, let's check out the other two sides in the bottom three. Derby County, who are at home to Leeds, and West Ham, who travel to Coventry.
The day began badly for West Ham and for England. Rio Ferdinand injured his groin in a tackle and is doubtful for the World Cup qualifier with Germany next month. Other than that, it was all positive for West Ham. Paolo Di Canio turned in another virtuoso performance, and when the Coventry defender Richard Shaw failed to do the necessary in his own penalty area, Di Canio was calmness personified in taking his chance. The Sky Blues' defence was at fault for West Ham's second as well. Di Canio was again the tormentor, taking his time to pick out Joe Cole. The youngster found space and put the Hammers 2-0 ahead. It was his first goal of the season. Coventry couldn't win away last season. It seems they can't win at home this. They were carved open yet again. Frank Lampard took on the less than onerous task of guiding the ball in. A long-range free kick by Mustafa Haji was the nearest Coventry came to scoring. but it was the first Premiership win of the season for the happier Hammers.
Some of the performances have been absolutely top class. We just haven't got the results to go with them, but it was nice to get the win, and I think that will definitely, well, we've never been short of confidence, but that will lift us off the bottom, and I think we're looking upwards from here on in.
Despite that Champions League win over AC Milan, Leeds United's Premiership form has dipped of late. So too did Ian Hart's free kick after half an hour at Derby. Moments later, it was a case of alas poor Horacio as Derby went down to 10 men. Argentinian defender Horacio Carbonari with the foul, Michael Bridges the fall guy. Carbonari's second red card in 5 days. Bad news though for Leeds. Michael Duberry's Achilles gave way after an awkward fall. David O'Leary has ruled him out for the season. Without a win so far, Derby do like a good comeback. Dion Burton led the charge. But Leeds could have sewn the game up had Dominic Matteo or Alan Smith obliged from Bowyer's cross, the kind of chance Smith normally thrives on. Derby's fans can't understand why Georgie Kincladze doesn't play from the start, but Jim Smith prefers to keep those kinky boots for tired legs. The Leeds defence helpless as Kincladze waltzed in to equalise and put some pride back into Pride Park.
Now to our other main game tonight, Bradford with only 3 goals from their 6 Premiership matches this season against Southampton, winners for the first time last Saturday. Tony Gubber was at Valley Parade.
Among the half a dozen players that Bradford brought in the summer to improve their chance of staying in the Premiership, the name of the Italian Benito Carboni raised most eyebrows after his free transfer from Aston Villa. He's among 4 of the new boys on view today. Carboni partnering Ashley Ward up front. Dan Petrescu, late of Chelsea, is in midfield. Peter Atherton, late of Sheffield Wednesday, in central defence. The other 2 new men, David Hopkin and Ian Nolan, are among the injured. Indeed, Bradford's 4 defenders today are the only fit ones at the club. Their problem has been scoring goals, so they must look with envy at Southampton's lightning Latvian Marian Pahars, who's already got 5 in the Premiership. He's recovered from the hamstring injury, which kept him out of the Worthington Cup tie in midweek, so Southampton field the same team that earned their first Premiership win of the season last weekend against Newcastle. Steve Dunn is in charge for a match that even in September has the shadow of the relegation issue hanging over it. Bradford in the bottom 3, Southampton just above them, 1 point better off. Chris Hutchings was the assistant manager here under Paul Jewell, elevated to the top job after Paul Jewell moved on. There have been big changes since then, lots of new faces around the club. Weatherall's header. Lundekvarm's header, oh, that's misdirected. Here's Benito Carboni. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, chances don't come better gift-wrapped than that. Poorly directed header, knocked on, perhaps unintentionally, by Lee Sharp, but Carboni could have done all sorts of things with that. He had the space to have a couple of touches and go further forward. Well, Bradford's home form includes that impressive 2-0 defeat of Chelsea. He also drew here 0-0 against Leicester and 1-1 against Arsenal. But here's Kashlul. Oh, good challenge by Peter Atherton in the nick of time. That's a very decent run, and Kashlul's shot brings the first save from Matthew Clark. Headed out by Richards. Here's Tesson. Pahars operating on this right side. El Khalij. Oh, it's a wayward shot by James Beattie. Well, both sides have had opportunities to shoot on target. Here's Oakley. Dodd. Tessam. Hooked in. Cashlul arrives. Oh, and it might be an own goal. Well saved by Clark, but it's in. Southampton have scored. And Bradford are protesting to Steve Dunn. Maybe that there'd been a foul. But who did get the final touch on that? The Southampton players are quick to congratulate Cashlul. But it may well have been Gunnar Halle who had the final touch. Dodd. Southampton making no really major summer signings. They brought in Uwe Rosler. Here's Tessam. The corner. Tessam looking for what would have been goal number 3 of this campaign, and Bradford will be concerned about how easily he stole into a position behind their defence. Dodd back to Cashlul. The big men have stayed forward. Glenn Hoddle steered Southampton to 15th place last season. They didn't quite have the battle to avoid relegation right up to the final match. That has been their style in recent seasons. This is Windass. Jones has come. Petrescu just trying to lift it in. Richards defends the goal line, and he did so very bravely. Under great pressure from Ashley Ward. And Dean Richards making sure that he kept his eye on the ball, despite the clear knowledge that he was about to get clattered. That's an easy catch for Paul Jones. And Dean Richards signed on a Bosman free transfer from Wolves in July of last year. Has proved a worthy acquisition down on the south coast. McCall battling in midfield. Taken away from them. Here's Beattie, head down, legs pumping. Brought down, it's a free kick. And it may be a yellow card for Dan Petrescu. It is. And this could well be the last action of the first half. There's no doubt about the decision or the yellow card. Too high. Matthew Oakley with the final act of the first half, which has illustrated Bradford's problems, their inability to score goals. But Glenn Hoddle with plenty of reason at half-time to feel satisfied with the way his team are performing. It's Bradford 0, it's Southampton 1. With the ability to slow the action down to only 20% of its original speed, we can see quite clearly that it was an own goal by Gunnar Halle. Whichever boot touched the ball last, it's given Southampton the ascendancy with just the second half to play. Bradford still pondering their problems in front of goal. Kept in by Carboni to Petrescu. Ashley Ward. Free kick has been given. And Ashley Ward has stupidly pushed over El Khalij. Now, he's got himself in trouble totally unnecessarily. Now, The referee's got an option here. He can actually send Ashley Ward off. He's raised his hands and he's pushed over an opponent, and maybe he's lucky to only get a yellow card. Well, that's the clumsy challenge. It was a pull on his shorts as much as anything, which brought the free kick. And then flattening him. Carboni wants to take it. McCall hovering just behind him. Maybe it would have been better to have left it for the assistant manager. Carboni's contribution so far hasn't been notable to the cause of Bradford and their new manager, Chris Hutchings. Carboni was not offside. Got 3 to look for. Looking for Gunahali! Oh, he'd have loved to have scored that to level things up. He's claiming it came off the shoulder of the defender, but it's a goal kick that's been given. Offside flag. Well, Pahars has been quiet out on that right side. Haven't seen the electrifying pace that has illuminated his game. Well, it was a good shot on the turn by Ashley Ward. It's forced the first real save that Paul Jones has had to make, although his goal line was protected for him in the first half by Dean Richards. First chance, really, that the Welsh international has had to show his quality. Weatherall wins the header. That's Dodd. Here's Pahars. Won by Dodd. Windass was waiting for it to drop for him. Cashlul went in bravely. Here's McCall, still pressure for Southampton to soak up. Here's Gareth Grant. But Carboni! Well, the youngster on as a substitute played his part in setting up the chance for Carboni's diving header. Headed it down into the turf and was never really going to trouble Paul Jones. What an arrival that would have been for a young substitute. Hooked in by McCall. Carboni! Still Carboni! Windass arrives, it's a corner. Oh, what a scramble. For once it appeared that Southampton's central 2 of Lundek, Varman, Richards were going to be unstitched. There was a moment when Carboni was surrounded by 4 defenders. Ward had the attempt at a shot. Young Gareth Grant had half a chance. Windass arrived and it's squeezed out for a corner. Lundek Varm explaining to his goalkeeper just why he and Richards failed to get it clear. Wayne Jacobs will take the corner. Southampton are happy to clear it out of their half. Here's McCall, who'll just surely hoist it back. Oh, Marsden had done well to get in front of him and make it difficult. Knocked up by Saltvet. Rossler back defending. McCall to wind up for what could be the final throw of the dice. We're into the last few seconds. Headed up by El Khalij, that's Carboni. Shot by Wayne Jacobs, never threatening the target. It's Southampton's third win in the space of 8 days. They're second in the Premiership, and the problems for Bradford are all too clear. It's an inability to score goals. Gunnar Halle is distraught that it's his own goal which separates the teams at the final whistle. Bradford 0, Southampton 1, the first relegation match of the season, played in late September.
Glenn, summarise that game for us.
Well, it wasn't a particularly pretty game. I think the goal actually sums up the match, but no, it was a battling performance from us. One that I think you have to do when you come here. I think Arsenal and Chelsea have. Arsenal got the draw. Chelsea got a defeat here, and we were vigilant that they've got a good spirit, and the crowd get behind them.
It's early in the season, but it's a sort of fixture people look at and think, well, possibly a relegation issue here, and they've taken the 3 points off you.
Yeah, I mean that's the most disappointing thing, with all due respect to Southampton. On paper it would appear probably the easiest of the games we've had so far, and being at home to lose is disappointing.
I was going to mention Dean Richards. I mean, he hadn't played in the top flight till Southampton bought him from Wolves, but he looks very accomplished and very at ease.
Yeah, it was a terrific buy from David Jones. I think the boy's getting better and better, and he's got experience now in the Premiership, and he's putting some consistent sort of 7 and 8, 9 out of 10s together, and I think that's what you want from your centre half, and it's a part of your spine which is always very important in a successful team.
Do you feel you're playing now as well as you have at any time in your career?
Possibly, yeah. Especially last season. I think last season was the best season in my career. I came up from the first division. It was my first season in the Premier League, and I had a few points to prove to a few people. And I think last season I went a long way to doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you look very adept and very comfortable at the moment.
Well, yeah. Like I say, it's great when the team's playing well, because everybody else around you is doing well, and that makes your job that much easier. So a lot of credit's got to go to Klaus, who's been playing alongside me as well. He's been playing really well.
What a modest chap. Now, you enjoyed that game, didn't you?
That was, without doubt, the worst game I've ever seen in the Premiership. Easily, honestly. I mean, the ball could have got stretched off about 20 minutes. It spent that much time in the air. Southampton came with a definite plan, put 5 in midfield, and made it so difficult for Bradford. And I have to tell you, Bradford were woeful.
Now, I get a lot of letters actually from Southampton fans saying that you and Mr. Hansen are never very kind to them. You don't give them credit, and they've won away from home.
I'll tell you something. This was the first season that I've tipped them to stay up, so they should be delighted. But I have to tell you, and I think that they will. And I think today you saw the fact that they had battling qualities, fighting qualities. The goal they scored was a scruffy goal to decide a scruffy game, and it was also slightly contentious. I think the contentious issue is really on behalf of the Bradford fans, and the ball gets crossed in, and they were shouting straight away that handball, but it's Gunnar Halle anyway who handles it. And just to clear up the mess, it's actually Gunnar Halle who scores the goal, not Cash Lul. This is another angle of it. And it was just stick it into the penalty area, see if someone gets on the end of it. Well, unfortunately for Bradford, it was their own player, and I think that just really clears up the fact that it is Gunnar Halle who scores a goal. And I think the thing with Southampton is, yes, they made mistakes, but they got away with those mistakes, and they got away with those mistakes mainly, I suppose, as much as anything to do with Richards. Here the goalkeeper comes. Why the goalkeeper wants to come for this, I shall never, ever know. Returned with a bit of interest by Petrescu. At least Richards has a presence of mind to go, get on the line and make the saving header. This, virtually in the last minute of the game, all hands to the pump, just gets chucked in there by Bradford, and I don't know what you're doing jumping under that. But at least Southampton get bodies around the ball. It's Carboni on it. Make sure you don't tackle him, just make it difficult, don't give a penalty away. Say the keeper makes a really brave save, and then there's all sorts of bodies who chuck themselves in the way. But I have to tell you, Gary, I would seriously worry about Bradford. Lost all their away games. They beat Chelsea at home, drawn all the other games. They can't score. They didn't really create any chances today, and looking to Carboni for the spark, and he was non-existent.
Looks like a long, hard season for them.
I think so.
Right, that leaves just 3 games to show you. Here they are. First up, Middlesbrough against Aston Villa.
Aston Villa's defender Ugo Ehiogu remained on the bench, with intense speculation that he's about to join today's opponents, Middlesbrough. They could have done with his commanding presence a few days earlier. On loan goalkeeper Gary Walsh was less than commanding under pressure, and Julian Joachim opened the scoring. Villa might have extended their lead. Joachim found Dion Dublin, but this time Walsh showed the kind of reliability that made him so popular during his first spell on Teesside. John Gregory's team were within sight of their third successive victory, but with 2 minutes to go, 3 points became 1. Alpay turned the ball into his own net and Middlesbrough escaped with a share of the spoils.
These days, Charlton are sponsored by a bus company. No surprise then that they chose to go Route 1 at St James's Park, a policy that brought an instant return as Graham Stewart drove in John Robinson's cross. It could have been worse for Newcastle. Charlton skipper Mark Kinsella intercepting Jensen's corner to test the carpentry from 20 yards out. Newcastle were more threatening after the break. Lomano Tresor Lua on his debut, sending over a cross for Alan Shearer deep into stoppage time, but Dean Kiley's save at the second attempt won the day for Charlton.
I think we deserved it. I think we had to dig in very, very deep in the last 20 minutes. We had 1 or 2 really tired players, but we had a few chances first half, perhaps to have made it 2.
Spurs, defending a 100% home record, were jeered off the pitch after a largely forgettable game. Centre-back Ramon Vega tested the City crossbar and suffered a painful clash of heads in the process. The visitors' best chance came when George Weah combined with top scorer Paulo Wanchop, but he failed to find the net. On their last visit to London, City were hammered at Charlton. At least those memories had been erased.
Damien Johnson and Andrew James rounding everything up for us. Not one home winner in today's 9 Premiership matches, but if Leicester can buck that trend against Everton at Filbert Street tomorrow, they'll top the Premiership for the first time in their history. Tonight, though, it's Manchester United who lead the way, despite having their 100% home record ended by Chelsea. Arsenal and Liverpool are non-movers following their draws. Charlton, enjoying life back in the Premiership, are up to 5th. It's all change at the other end. West Ham are off the bottom after 5 long weeks. Their first win of the season lifts them to 18th. Bradford City now prop up the rest below Derby on goal difference. The Rams are now the only side without a Premiership win. OK, that's it. But stay with us for Olympic Grandstand. Just the 13 and a half hours. Looks like another sleepless night. Goodbye.